Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching me from, and thank you for tuning to Teachers TV Africa. I'm Teacher Peter Okware, live from Florida, USA, and I take this opportunity to first appreciate you for taking your time to watch. Yes, uh, today we are going to be talking about a topic, and that topic is purely about reading and why is it a major challenge in Africa and what should we be doing or what should we do? So that will help us to at least understand how we can have solutions to the challenge. As I'm waiting for some people to tune on or to come on board, at least even if we get a very few people who will be watching, we are good to go. And thank you very much. Kindly give me some time as I'm also working on something here, small, but I believe we are going to learn something. Yes. Firstly, we are going to start with the definition of reading. Yes, what is reading? Like, we find that so many of us today have this belief that, or have a belief or a thinking that reading is just something or it is a mere component. But the truth is, reading is one of the major learning components that is needed in education. First of all, is Teacher Peter. Teacher Peter Okware is a teacher by profession from Uganda, East Africa. And I also have a very nasty background or experience. I repeated classes thrice simply because I couldn't read. And currently, I'm grateful to God and to everyone who helped me. Right now, I can read. And I repeated primary thrice simply because I couldn't read three times. And even the classes that I passed, I didn't pass them simply because I knew what I passed, but I just found myself passing. I can't tell that this is what I did to pass. I can't assure you that. So we are going to start, I think, with something. I'm working on something here briefly. Sorry. I'm working on something small so that we can get started. And when you come online, kindly don't forget to like.
So I've got my essay written. So now I'm going to show you how I use.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Thank you. A moment. TV Africa. So with that, I believe we're about to begin officially as we're waiting for one or two people to join us. So that we can start. So I believe with that, as I've told you, I repeated primary twice simply because I couldn't read. That is one. But today, one of the challenge that we don't, what that we have all not acknowledged. Uh, Firstly, we are starting with the definition of reading. Reading simply means, or literacy simply means the ability to read something and then understand it. Yes, the ability to read something and comprehend or understand it, which is fine. Now, one of the things that at least we should all observe and understand today that reading has not been given a priority in so many schools and in the nation simply because we look at it as a mere subject. But we forget that it is the core or it is the mother of all subjects. Yes, reading is the mother of all subjects, and without it, it simply means that a lot will always go wrong. Yeah. Without it, it simply means that a lot will go a lot will always go wrong. So what should I start with? I think we are starting with the reading itself. Like we have two types of reading. Like according to us that we know, we have what we call organic reading and inorganic reading. Organic reading and inorganic reading. And with the organic reading, this is whereby a person reads a word that they understand. You are able to read a word that you do understand. Now, with the inorganic reading, this is whereby a person just reads the word, even if they have not understood it, but they have read it. So that's where I believe you can make your own findings. I think that's where most people belong. You find that people can read the words, but when they don't understand what those words mean, that one qualifies the person to become an inorganic reader. And look at with the teachers who are teaching. How many people have the skill of being organic teachers, whereby whatever you read, you can be able to understand it. So that is a challenge. Now, with that, it leads us to this also, like reading is the mother of all subjects. Yes, and so many countries, be it in the United States here, they invest a lot of money in their reading programs. They invest a lot of money in their literacy programs to see that teachers understand the basics and also the learners, and even it becomes so that it can become a culture. You find that in the language skills, we have speaking, we have writing, we have reading itself, we have comprehension, and we have listening. Yes, all those are the things that develop the language, the five. So you find that what you give most time, that's where you become an expert in. So now currently we find that most of us, we are giving more time to maybe it can be the speaking, which is not bad, but then you find that other areas are being neglected. So what happens, the learners or the children might not be bad off, but they won't they won't make it in the way that we like them to become in life. Yes. What does it mean? You find that today so many of our learners and so many of the teachers, uh, English is not our first language. English is more of a second language. For other people, it's a third language. Yes. Others, it's even a fourth language. So what happens if it's not our first language and it's the language that you're using to communicate? It simply means that you have to give it a lot of time for you to understand it. If you don't give it enough time, there's so many things that will go wrong. Yeah. So with that, one of the challenges, I'm going to start sharing some of the challenges why we have this in Africa as a challenge. You find that reading is not the first language. Yes, reading is not the first language. Mm-hmm. Yes, reading is not the first language. Reading is more of it is the L. Reading is more of the L2, and reading is not examinable in so many schools. So if a subject is not examinable, it simply means that people won't give it time. Why? Because it is not being examined at UNEB or at the final exams. So what happens? The biggest challenge that we have today, you find that so many people neglect teaching reading or literacy to teachers in lower classes. Teachers in lower classes are the ones whom we leave to do the bigger job or the hard task. Now, when these people do it, there's what we call, we have two things. We have what we call reading to learn and learning to read. So the first thing that every child has to undergo is what they call learning to read. So when the child learns how to read, then they can read to learn. It simply means that they first learn how to read, then they read to learn. Simply means that now the second stage will be they will be reading for the sake of learning. So if there is a mistake in one of the two stages, the child will always grapple. And if there was a mistake in a person understanding the difference between organic reading and inorganic reading, again, there will be issues. So these are some of the things that at least we should put into consideration, that as teachers, as parents, as stakeholders in education, what is our collective responsibility? What is our collective responsibility? So to start with, at least one of the things that we should all do right in our respective schools, we should give reading ample time, and we should support all teachers, regardless of which class a person teaches, to see that they get some basic skills in reading. Even if when the person is teaching in upper classes, they should be acquainted with some basic skills in reading. I'm a person who repeated primary thrice simply because I didn't know how to read. But even the teachers in the upper classes didn't have any remedy simply because they lack the skills. But if we help all teachers to have the skill, it simply means that when the child reaches the stage of comprehension or vocabulary, they can always be helped. Yes, so reading should be embraced in all classes. And now, one of the things that again we should look at in most cases, if we are teaching reading in our respective schools, let us endeavor to see that we use contextualized approaches. What do I mean by contextualized approaches? Contextualized approaches, these are majorly local things that children will understand and that children will easily follow. Today, one of my friends from South Africa, I might not mention her name, I won't mention her name here, but she sent me a text, a WhatsApp message that for them, you find that in South Africa, they have so many challenges. The kids can't read simply because they have a lot of stages that they skip. Now, if a child skips a stage and you give them complicated work, it simply means that they are going to read it inorganically, but not organically. So she was narrating to me how that is a big challenge over there because for her, she has been in over 5 or 8 African countries. So it is one area where we should put a lot of emphasis. Kindly, if you're joining us, don't forget to like the video and also share your comment. Liking means a lot. So if you're joining us, like the video, please. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm seeing the likes now coming. At least we should get each person who joins, you start by liking the video. Yeah. Thank you very much. And this video, by the way, is sponsored by liking, just like that is your sponsorship. Yes. So what happens in real life that if we don't invest a lot in reading as a nation, it simply means that we won't lead. And that's why today we find that in all our schools and in all our communities, we tell people that they should read, we tell our children to read, but we're the ones who are telling them to read, we don't read. And tomorrow's leaders are simply today's readers. So the more you read is the more you lead. So what should be the best way to do? We should start teaching reading in a very chronological approach, like systematic. So one of the challenge, one time I was attending, one day I was attending a conference. It was for DEOs in Uganda, and then there was a minister. Then they were talking about ICT, talking about so many sophisticated things in education. And that's the day when I learned that so many people are disconnected from the realities on ground. And I raised my hand and I shared an opinion that I told them that the challenge that we're having currently, yes, those might be challenges, those might be areas where you are looking at putting an investment, but let us do the first things first. And what is the first thing first? The first thing first is working at the things that we have to work on first, like focusing on those areas like the literacy. You can't believe it that UNESCO shared what they call the UNESCO Education Global Challenge or Learning Challenge. And they said out of the 250 million children in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, 100 100 million children in sub-Saharan Africa are not getting quality education and they can't even read. Why? Simply because people who are the stakeholders have not taken it as their responsibility to see that they give it the needed attention and the needed support and also the human development. What should we do right for it to get the needed support and development, like the needed support? Firstly, it should start by also creating or making a lot of advocacy by showing them, look, this area is salient. And if a child can't read, it simply means that they are going to struggle in the upper classes where they need to use a lot of comprehension in order to approach so many questions. And with that, the effect goes back to maybe the school and the teachers, because you are the ones who are going to be put on the wire simply because they will ask you, why can't your children read? And it's not a role or a responsibility of the teachers alone, it's a collective responsibility. It is our collective responsibility. We all have a stake in this. So what should we do right? We should start by doing 3 things. The first thing is by creating awareness, whereby reading should become a household asset. Yes, the way how every family today, when you go to every family, mainly in Uganda, you'll find a chart of ABCD. And all parents know them. So let's also reading become a household asset. As schools that might be having the possibility, take time to also educate your parents, educate them about the essence or the importance of reading in the learning and the teaching process, or in the teaching and learning process of their children. That is one. With that, if we do that, at least we shall have the 2 stakeholders. You will have the school playing its role and also the parents playing their role. The way how the parents have played a major role in teaching ABCD. So that's the same way how we need the parents to understand the sound R, sound T, sound B, sound K. Because today I find so many parents fighting and grumbling with their children at home because the parent will tell the child, write letter C, and then the child will write sound the S. You find a parent telling a child, write letter B, when the child doesn't even understand B, because the child knows B, because they are now at the stage of learning to read. So when they are learning to read, we should always teach them in sounds and syllables, purely so that it can be decoded in their minds. Now, when they start after in the advanced stage, then we can also introduce in the letters, simply because the letters for them, they majorly help us in recognition. Yes, thank you very much. So that is one thing that we have started with, at least making reading a household information or a household asset. And the government has a major role to play, whereby make the reading materials accessible, put these programs on television all over Africa. There are teachers whom at times I train from Zambia, from South Africa, from so many places. But you find that people are struggling, and then you ask yourself, how comes that our governments are not seeing this? And even this should sink into our policy makers. Let us not always think about doing these things after getting donations, after getting funds. Let us always have a budget to work upon these things. Remember, if you're joining us, don't forget to like this video. Yes, and even after watching, don't forget to share your opinion or also share it with others. So your like means a lot, and this video is sponsored by the like. If you like it, our target, by the way, is to reach 2,000 subscribers before this month ends. Yes, and also in these 2 years to reach 1 million subscribers. The spirit of Teachers TV Africa is simply to give a platform to teachers, to education, so that we can be the solutions we need. Yes, and as time goes on, we shall be inviting so many people to share their opinions and also so many educative programs. So kindly always follow and also tell a friend to tell a friend about Teachers TV Africa. So we have talked about advocating and making reading and household information. The second thing that we should all do, this is, I think you're having a pen and a paper. Even all the stakeholders, I believe you're watching this video. The second thing, let us take reading to the grassroots institutions. Yes, the grassroots institutions. What do I mean? Let us take reading to training colleges and teach it fully to every teacher who goes to a training college. Let us teach them how to teach reading. Every teacher who goes to a training college, let us teach them how to teach reading, how to appreciate reading, how to embrace reading, and how to be meaningful about the the future of the children we teach. Because if a child can't read, they can't lead. They can easily cram, they can easily gamble, but they won't lead, simply because it is not in them. But at least if we teach them the right way, if we teach them the right way, they will easily understand whatever we are teaching them. Yes, so let us make reading a household information. And secondly, let us take reading in all institutions. Every teacher who qualifies from a teaching college, be it in primary, be it one time we went to a secondary school. Now in secondary school, we won't teach them the system of learning to read. But let us in secondary school instill in them the system of reading to learn, so that the comprehension, the mindset of comprehension can enter in the children. So as long as currently we are investing a lot of our money and resources as nations in seeing that we work on ICT, we work on those sophisticated things, yet we have not worked on the basic things. In this century, at least reading should be the thing of the past, whereby we shouldn't be having those challenges. Yes. So as long as we are still having that challenge as a nation, it simply means we are not taking the right path. And here we are not blaming any person. It's all about us doing what we're supposed to do and also waking up. Yes. Now this one also goes back to all the teachers. it is your role to see that as a teacher, you put it in yourself to learn a lot about literacy, about reading. And you can't learn anything or a lot about reading if you don't take time to understand about the learning styles. Yes, because the learning styles will help you to understand your learners, to understand how each learner learns, how this one understands, how this one likes the lesson. So if you put that into consideration, it will help us greatly and it will help us a lot. So, with that, if we take reading to the institutions, it simply means that every teacher who comes out of that institution will have the needed skills and the needed knowledge to take it into a class. But if we don't do that, it simply means we are going to struggle, we are going to blame our children, and at the end of the day, they are going to repeat. For me, as I told you, I repeated primary thrice simply because I couldn't read. But I couldn't read. Why? Because the teachers who taught me didn't help me. They didn't, and for them, even I don't blame them. They also didn't know how to help me. So it was just, let me say, confusion. The teachers don't know how to help me. I also don't know how to help myself. I remember one time one of my teachers said, maybe they bewitched you. And this is it. If you ask any child a question, verbally, they can easily give you an answer. But if you tell them to read and write the answer, that's a challenge. So it simply means that we understand the content, but the challenge comes in reading the content. So, what should we do in order to enable the children to understand, read, and also be able to write it down? So, it is a discipline. It is a total discipline, and it starts with you and me. If you look at it, a big number of children, of learners who drop out of school, they drop out of school simply because they can't read. Yes, other factors come later, but if a person can't read, even if a person can read, even if when there is no school fees, you'll find that even other opportunities like sponsorships and all that will be available simply because the person can read. And any person who can read, they can't fail. But if a child can't read, it simply means that they will always face challenges in their teaching, in their learning process. So that is one thing that we should put into consideration. We say the first thing, if we are to master the reading, firstly making it an household asset, whereby we promote it among parents. The second thing, taking it to colleges, teaching colleges, yes. And I'm not talking about Uganda. I'm not talking about Africa. I'm talking about the entire world, yes. Currently, at times some people call me, person calls you and tells you, my child can't read. This week, yes, last week, I went to a school, one of the schools here in the US, and I was discussing with a teacher. And the teacher said, even here we have challenges. People can speak English, but they can't read. That's why you find that on social media, on Facebook, they no longer type. They send emojis, they send those images, but they can't type simply because they can't read. And if they can type, they will use the automated system. So it's a global challenge, but it's a basic challenge that can easily be addressed well if people are very intentional, if the leaders are intentional, if parents get involved, and if everyone takes it as a responsibility or as their responsibility. Kindly don't forget to like. Don't forget to like the video. Thank you very much. So far we have talked about two things. Then the third thing is also using the media. Yes, we need the media greatly, and that's the purpose why we started up Teacher CV Africa. For us, we went to so many media houses, and they didn't see light in what we're doing. They said, no, this is not good. We want money. And these are the people at times who blame governments, but they can't give a platform to things that will develop the nation. So what do we need the media for? The way how artists get the airplay, the way how musicians are always there and comedians all the time, and they end up becoming celebrities. So that's the same way how teachers, facilitators, trainers should always be given that time to go on the media houses and share what they know about reading, about the learning styles. Basically, not looking at content, but looking at these other components that are the cores or that make learning complete, but that most people might not be understanding or might not be acknowledging. Yes, so that one is our collective responsibility. And That's why we call upon the media, the televisions, the print media like the newspapers to have articles in the same area so that people can take time, read. Let parents also understand. One day I remember I asked a parent, like a parent was complaining. Then I I asked her, she said when the child goes back home, the child, instead of reading TH, the child tells her that, mommy, that is sound is Z, or sound is. Then the mother said, no, that is TH. And the child wasn't getting the mom. So the problem was the mother was having outdated information and the child was having updated information, but they were not on the same page. So if we also use the media where we can capture the attention of parents, and that's why for us we greatly use the media, we shall easily get them on board, and we shall get the stakeholders on board because they are on the media houses. We shall get the funders on board so that they can fund all your programs, all our programs, all the schools. Yes, we shall get them on board. Yes, and that's why we can. If the real media houses fail, there are so many platforms. There is we also have the social media. Yes, the social media. There is also, apart from social media, we also have, yeah, probably mainly social media. Use the social media: Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, LinkedIn, all those platforms to talk about this and to be the agent of change. So in most cases, most of us might not be knowing this. You might complain that you don't have a job. You might complain that no one is caring about you, which is also fine. But if you want people to care about you, be a solution in their lives. So reading is a challenge. Why can't you be a solution in your nation? Why can't you join people whom you're seeing that are trying to make an impact and say, where can I support? What can I do? Because at the end of the day, it's all about us. It's all about you to take the lead. And if a person, regardless of how good they are, if they don't know how to read, they are going to get challenges in one way or the other. Even if when you get money, you might get challenges in signing your documents. And if you fail to sign them well, other people will sign them for you badly, or they will even cheat you. Yes, so reading is very important for all people. And it is also very important if you are to raise the leaders we need. So with that, we have talked about 3 areas or 3 things that we should look at. Firstly, making reading household information, making all the charts available in all homes, in every school. And that's why a teacher's development center and teachers in need. If you're a teacher, currently start subscribing and schools and come for these charts. Yes, come for the charts. Come for the learning aids in reading. Come for them. Yes. And if you're parents, also come and get them. Come and learn the things. The reason why so many children can't or they don't fancy learning because they can't read. So it's a challenge. Then the second thing we have talked about, taking it to the colleges or the training centers. And the third thing we have talked about, the media, advocating so that the media can also give us a platform. The media should be there for the well-being of people, not to just blame the government, not to just share politics, not to just put entertainment all the time, but they should also put edutainment and also informative, educative programs. Yes, and at times that doesn't mean that all of the programs they should be paid for. What are they doing for the nation? I believe you should also share this clip to all those MDs, the CEOs of the media houses, so that they can know. Yes. Then the other thing that we should all do, we should, like our schools should invest currently, like the current school, you should invest in training your teachers. Yes. And this is a challenge. So many schools, when they're making their budgets, they never make budgets for training or human resource development. They always have this, that if we train teachers, they will always go. Yes, they might go. But if you buy fuel and you put it in your car, does it mean that the fuel has to just be there redundant? The fuel has to move the car. So even if when the teacher has worked with you for 2 years and they leave you, but when they have given you their due diligence, it simply means that they have served their time. They haven't crippled your children. They haven't crippled your school. So kindly let us get out of that old age mentality that I can't invest in teachers, teachers will go. Who will invest in your teachers? So it should be our collective responsibility as a nation, as Africa, to invest in our teachers so that they can become knowledgeable. For us currently, we have trained over 10,800 teachers all over Uganda, directly and indirectly. But one of the things that we have seen, you find that schools that invite us or organizations are these ones that are intentional about making a change. Then you find those ones that are not interested, not even inviting us, but also inviting other trainers in other areas. They only invite people to train their teachers on how to pass PLA, how to answer. But these other basic things, they don't do it, which is not bad, but it's not right. So we should invest in things that will add value. Now, one of the major funders of education in the world is Bill Gates or and Melinda Gates. Yes, I think Bill and Melinda Gates. But one of the statements that Bill Gates said, he said that it will take them over 10 years to find out whether the investment they have made in education will work out. Simply because the impact doesn't come out easily. It's not like whereby you plant a banana or you plant maize and within months you are harvesting the maize. But here it takes time because you are developing people. But this is the beauty of reading. With reading, you can easily see that you can easily tell that uh, things are working on well or they are not, because within the first 2 months, if you do it intensively, you will see a difference. You will see a difference in the children's lives. You will see a difference in the community, and you'll even see the difference in the way how people are interested or they are desiring to see that they learn. So it has a direct benefit. And at the end of the day, if any school invests in reading all over Africa, you will see that your children will be different. For us, there's a school that we trained, and that school is in Kampala, Uganda. It is it's a humble school. We reached that school when things were not working out well, and it is called Malaika. So when we train them, not once, not twice, not thrice, we train them several times. We could call them at the center. We train their teachers, and within just 1 month, there was a very, very tremendous difference. Why? Simply because the impact of reading can easily be seen within a very short period of time. So it should be our collective responsibility to see that as schools, the way how we invest in beautifying our gates, we invest in beautifying the appearance of the school, we should also invest in beautifying our teachers. Let our teachers teach from the point of no, not from the point of gambling, not from the point of trying. And let us also not focus as schools. Thank you for the great work that we are doing. But let us not just focus at always looking for good teachers. For us, we get so many schools that call us teachers in need. Do you have this teacher? We have one good teacher. Yes, it's okay. But at schools, let us invest in developing our own teachers. Yes, that one means a lot. And thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for liking. Kindly don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share it with your colleagues after watching it if you see some sense in it. Yes. And okay, the other thing is we should also acknowledge that reading or English, yes, we majorly look at reading in form of English, but we have what we call L1 and L2. Now L1 simply means the mother language. Then L2 can mean other languages like the second language, and that can be mainly English. Now to most of us, reading is not our L1. Sorry, English, not our L1. English is more of the L2. So what happens if we are teaching like majorly in the stage of the learning to read? We should teach it, we should incorporate the L1, the language one, with L2. Yes, some basics from the mother tongue with some basic from the English itself. At least with that, it will create and it will add a great impact in our learners, simply because they will be learning from the known to unknown. Now, one day, there's a teacher. She gave P1 children. P1 children in Uganda are the ones who are at the age of roughly 5, 6 years, and the teacher gave them the word stomach, stomach, and these are kids who are not exposed to those words. So the teacher said these kids can't read, but the teacher didn't take time to first find out what did they learn in their ECD section, and is the word stomach, is it the word that you should start with as a teacher? So the teacher had this in mind that what they know how to read, the child should be knowing. And you find that that's why, in most cases, instead of teaching children how to read organically, we teach them how to cram, we teach them how to recite, and they become professional crammers. So it is our collective responsibility to see that as schools, as stakeholders in education, we invest a lot in saying that reading becomes something that every teacher should understand. And in understanding the reading as teachers, we shouldn't force them. We shouldn't yes, enforce it on them. We should take time to first show them the importance of knowing how to teach reading, and also the benefits of teaching reading to the learners and even to themselves. Now, according to UWEZO, they gave a report that in 2018, the reading levels were around 32.5. And by 2021, the reading levels had grown to 39.5, according to UWEZO, and that is a report under the Center for Global Development. If you want it, you can go and read it. And then also with that, what does it mean? Like if you look at the 39.5, ask yourself a simple question: where are they coming from? Are they people from within, let me say, the public schools, private schools? Are they from community schools? Are they from rural schools or the village schools? So you find that everyone would be able to read, but let us always first work on the teachers. If we invest a lot of time in teachers, and let us make it lovable, let us pay teachers for that service, let us add something, let us, as teachers, as we are investing in them, they will also have the desire to invest back whatever they have been given to the learners. Currently, RTI and other stakeholders, USAID, they have invested a lot in reading, mainly in Uganda and in Africa, and in Ethiopia, in Rwanda. They have invested a lot of money, but we should always ask ourselves a simple question: what is the outcome? What is the outcome? And if we are to invest, should we only look at majorly focusing on teachers who are in schools or teachers who are in colleges? So we should draw a balance. As we are supporting teachers who are in schools, we should also put stringent measures and systems to support teachers who are still in colleges, who are in training centers, who are in the university, so that they can have the concept that this is the way how I'm going to handle these children, and this is the way how I'm going to help my learners, and this is the way how I'm going to assess them. And according to UNEB is the Uganda Examination Board. Yes, Uganda National Examination Board. According to them, one of the things that they usually say, they say that children fail simply because they can't read and comprehend. A child who can't read and comprehend, it simply means that they will fail, or chances of failing are very high. And here in the US, I was at the University of Georgia, Georgia State University. But there's a report that they made when they are comparing, it was a research. They are comparing literacy, the importance of reading, even in numeracy or in mathematics. And they found out that children, here in the US, children who are given structured questions, like, I don't know, structured questions, I don't know, is that the right word? Whereby I would say 7 or 8 divided by 2. Kids who are given that question, you find that they could easily pass it. Now, children who are given 8 divided by 2, when it is in word problem, like you have to read the sentence or sentence, a big number of them couldn't pass the question. Why? It is an indicator that if you give a child anything in the way that they understand it, they will easily give you the right answer. But if you twist it and give them the same thing in the way that they don't understand it, they will not pass it. That's the same thing that we should all do. While examining our children, while assessing them in class, always first find out what is their level. And this is a challenge. If a child can't read, or if the child skipped the stage of reading to learn, yes, or sorry, learning to read, if they skip that stage, by the time when they reach the stage of reading to learn, you will always have issues simply because they will, by that time, majorly in upper classes, they're supposed to answer questions. You are preparing them for final exams, those summative assessments. But simply because they had a poor foundation, what happens? You're going to pump them with so many questions, so many revision work, for the sake of seeing that they understand. But a person who doesn't understand how to read, they will not pass anything. Whatever they pass, it will be out of gambling and cramming. I'm one person. For me, I repeated primary thrice, but I couldn't pass anything simply because not because I didn't want to pass, but I wasn't understanding things. I wasn't getting things. So I remember one time, one of my teachers, that was at St. Peter's Primary School in Zambia, she taught us, I'll never forget that scenario. She taught us UPDF in full, and UPDF stands for Uganda People's Defense Force. And this is something that she told us. It is something that sank in my mind. Then when we reached in the exam, I found the same question. What is UPDF in full? I know the answer, but I can't write it down. Do you know the pain? I don't know if a person has never repeated a class, but if you have never repeated a class, there is no trauma on planet Earth for a student, a child to repeat a class, seeing their fellow colleagues going to other classes, and for them they are repeating a class. So this goes to all, even school directors and parents. As we invest in our schools, putting up good structures, let us also be mindful about investing in the teachers so that they can be knowing exactly how to teach, how to support these learners, and let us do all what it takes to see that repeating becomes a thing of the old. How can a child who has studied for a full year, repeat a class? What is the sake of learning? Is the purpose of learning repeating? Yes, they might not be understanding a number of things in terms of content, but there are certain things that they can do better. So, but the beauty is, if those kids can read, it simply means I'm one person who doesn't agree or understand or concur with repeating classes, because I repeated classes and I was not understanding. I could repeat and it wasn't a guarantee that I'm going to understand. I remember one time when I repeated P2, they told me, okay, after repeating P2, they said, now this man can't repeat P2 again. Let him just go and try P3. Now I went to P3, I repeated. They said, now he can't try P3, he can't repeat P3. Let him go and try P4. That's the second time. When I reached P4, I repeated. But in P4, the beauty is I was transiting from a village school now to a Kampala school, an urban school. Now even in the urban school, when I reached there, that was St. Peter's Primary School, I repeated. That was in 1999. I repeated. Yes. And by that time, I remember I was roughly 11, 12 years. I repeated. Then I learned how to read my organic word in 1999 at the end, or in 2000. And the first word which I read was kato. Kato. Yes, it was a local word. That's why it's very important to incorporate language development 1 and 2 into the learning process. So what does it mean? It simply means that I was interested to learn and pass, but I wasn't getting things. And the teachers were also not supported, like they didn't have the knowledge on how to support weak learners. And that is the challenge that we have today in the African education. So many teachers are not equipped with the knowledge of supporting weak learners. We just simply teach to complete the syllabus, and it's not by fault. Don't quote me wrong. It's not by fault, and it's not by our making, but the system. So there are certain things that we have to change in the system. Kindly don't forget to like this video And don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share your opinion and even share it to your school directors, to everyone, even the opinion leaders and policymakers. So what happens at the end of the day, and thank you anyway for watching. We don't take your time for granted. We're very grateful. Just that I might not be knowing who is watching. At the end of the video, don't forget to share your comments so that I can get to know who is watching, who has been watching. I'm sorry that in my live chat I'm not saying who is watching. So what happens at the end of the day, if we invest a lot in reading as a nation and as Africa, one of the things that will happen, majorly even the girl child, the children will stay longer in school. Yes. Then secondly, you'll see that the dropouts will reduce. And finally, if we do that, we'll see that even the performance will improve because people will be learning things that they do understand. Now, if it comes at school level, it starts with the school directors, the school heads, and the committees. We should become very intentional about uh, taking it as a responsibility to invest a lot in our schools to see that the teachers can teach reading well. We should take it as our collective responsibility to see that we invest in not only even the teachers but also in the systems whereby even if when one teacher leaves, sorry, any teacher who comes, they can easily pick it up from the teacher who left. Yes, and even all schools. Now this one goes to every school. Every school should invest a lot of time in seeing that we all become schools that have basic knowledge in teaching reading. Yes. How does it start? It starts by schools becoming intentional, by schools having a budget, by schools investing in their teachers, by schools having that program. At least it might not be a timely program, but also it can also be a monthly program on how teachers can be developed. If you can't manage a monthly program, at least sign up as a school. Sign up for a program that can take you maybe every weekend, 1 hour or 2 hours, and learn these things. And after like 1 month, 2 months, one term, the school would have picked and gained momentum that will keep you moving for the rest of your life. You just keep on polishing the strategies and skills. So it is our collective responsibility as schools. Now, when it comes to the government has to do a lot of investment without just looking at the donor funding. That is the only challenge that is eating up, or the cancer eating up our governments in Africa. We always first want to get donations to do things that matter. Huh? We shouldn't wait for donations when your people can't read, and at you at the same time complaining that the population is growing, that the youth don't want to work, that people are complaining about this and that, but people can't read. Let us teach them how to read first. And if we are teaching them how to read, let us guide them and direct them to where they can get meaningful content. Even if when you don't go to a university, you might not be able to go to the university due to lack of finances. But if you are taught well how to read, how to the reading culture, if it enters you, it simply means you will always be able to self-teach yourself from anywhere through the internet, through the libraries and all that. So let it be a collective responsibility of the government to invest, to invest in training colleges, to invest a lot of resources in schools. Let schools be supported, even private schools. It doesn't mean that a private school is teaching private children. A private school is also teaching public children. So let also private schools be supported financially. Let private schools be supported in all possible ways, even in the materials, with the training and everything. So at the end of the day, you'll find that reading will become a household resource. Let everyone be supported in all possible ways. So with that, we are remaining with 10 minutes to conclude this session. The reason why I don't use a lot of statistics, not because I don't have statistics, I have a lot of statistics, but I would like to be as simple as possible in a way that I would like to talk about things that we have seen working, things that we have seen making an impact, and things that can make an impact in your school, in your country, in your community, in the lives of the children we teach. And in our final 10 minutes, I'm going to talk about a few things. And one of the things that I'm going to talk about is in the schools themselves. Yes, so many schools think that sounds, if you are teaching sounds, that is reading. That's very good. Sounds is one of the major areas in reading. Yes, very much. That's very, very important. But there are also other things that we should consider. We should consider about the principles, the games, and everything that comes with the sounds. Even the syllables. In Africa, we have what they call the local language. Like in Uganda, we have what we call the ba, be, bi, bo, bo. Those are the syllables. Ta, te, ti, to, tu. And for us, we teach them using the 5 fingers. And we say, I have 5 fingers, and my 5 fingers are my 5 vowels. A, E, I, O, U, A. The reason why we teach this as U, A, because we believe it has 2 vowels, vowel alternatives. Yes. So if we start contextualizing teaching, if we start contextualizing teaching reading, you will find that even everyone will master it. So again, we are still on schools. In schools, let us put reading on the timetable, not once a week. We have gone to so many schools whereby they teach reading just once a week. When they get time, that's when they teach reading. And at times, the entire school has one teacher who is overworked. And other schools, for them, reading stops in P3. So in nursery up to P3, that is the stage of learning to read. Now when the child goes to P4, P5, P6, P7, let us start teaching them reading to learn. In high school, reading to learn. In university, reading to learn. At secondary, reading to learn. And for me, majorly in my posts, like on Facebook, at times I post things, but I know when I post anything lengthy, I strongly know that very few people will read it. Thank you, James 2K. I've seen the first comments. Yeah, the waving. Thank you very much for waving. It means a lot. I think you're the first person who has waved. And thank you also for liking the video. Don't forget to share it. You find that so many people have that challenge. We have that challenge as a nation, not only in Uganda, but all over Africa. Only teachers in the lower classes are the ones who are left with who are given the responsibility of teaching reading. But we always advocate that every teacher, every class, we should teach reading in every school. Like, let it have enough time on the timetable. Let it be given ample time. Let it be given ample time in your timetable. Let it be taught every day in every class. And let every child, we always tell schools this, let every child have a book, a separate book on reading. And let that book always be used by any teacher who enters the class. Like in English, we have what we call vocabulary. But that's the same thing in reading. Now that is what they call the stage of reading to learn. So let the vocabulary, let us take it from the English aspect and also use it in all subjects as vocabulary. Example, I might be teaching mathematics and I find a complicated word. It's a new word. A word like dissect. Oh, okay, dissect. Let me use this one. Perpendicular. I like the word perpendicular. You will find that the word perpendicular, it has so many jargons. It has sound chu in it. It has sound a, the r of ar. It has sound, it has so many things in it. Oh, thank you very much, teacher Fred. I've also seen your message. Thank you for the message. Thank you for appreciating. Kindly don't forget to share this video. Thank you. Don't forget to like and also be a part of the family of Teachers TV Africa. When I come back to Uganda, we are coming back with improved programs that are going to transform our education system, not only in Uganda, but all over Africa. Yes. And at least Teachers TV Africa is going to become more of a resource center, and even at our Teachers Development Center. So let me not deviate. So when it comes to all those things, when you are teaching children, like, assume I'm a teacher of mathematics. If I find a word perpendicular, I should teach them how to first understand, not to cram the word perpendicular. Yes. One time, I usually use this story. One time, there's a teacher who attended our workshop in 2017. Was it 2017, 2018? And this teacher was a teacher of science. He had been teaching children and the kids. He was a teacher of science teaching in P7, and he had taught for over 15 years. And the kids challenged him and said he was teaching about poultry. And he told them about water trough. And the learners challenged him. And they told him, teacher, no, that's not the word water trough, because I believe you know how they spell the word trough. Water trough is Trough. Then the teacher didn't have any explanation. The only explanation, he told them, go to the library and make your research. But is that right? So what should we be doing? We should be doing one thing. If I, as a teacher, am teaching that subject and I come across that word, it simply means I should have the knowledge on how to support the learners to understand why is the word water trough. Why is the word water trough? So that should be our collective responsibility. That should be our collective role. And with that, if you have been watching and you'd like to join team, to join Teachers TV Africa voluntarily, you'd like to share your knowledge, you'd like to be hosted, it might be live, it can be online, because you're going to start those sessions whereby even if when you are anywhere, we can have a discussive session. Kindly send me a WhatsApp. The good thing, you have my WhatsApp number, or send us an email, or even just send me something like in terms of communicate. Or you can also come to our center, Teachers Development Center, that is in Kampala, Uganda. Or you can send me an email wherever you are watching us from. We will reach out to you. Or you can also follow our social media pages. We have Facebook. We have Teachers TV Africa on Facebook. We have Teachers in Need on Facebook. We have Teachers TV Africa and Teachers in Need again on Twitter. I also have my personal handles on Teacher Peter Okware on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So you can always follow us. And this is it. This one is not my responsibility as an individual. It is our collective responsibility. We should join hands to improve our nation. We should join hands to improve people's lives. And we should join hands to make Africa better. I'd also like to show you where I've been recording the video from. Currently here, it is still daytime, as you can see outside. It is still daytime. And one thing which I'm very passionate about USA, which I've liked about them, these people have been systematic in terms of seeing that they didn't focus on themselves, but they focus on making a better country for their children and their children's children. Look at these roads. These are roads which are not main roads. These are roads which are in residential areas, but you'll find that every road is like this. So this is the beauty of education, and the education which adds the value, the education which we need, not just the education we want. So kindly also share any topic that you'd like us to talk about, and don't forget to share this video with others so that at least we can see ways on how we can transform Africa. If you don't mind, because I don't know whether you are saying it clearly, I'm going to move out so that you can see where I've been recording the video from. And you see the way how these people are this is the place. And look at the streets. It's not in town. It is just a residential area. But they are very, very committed to seeing that whatever they do doesn't only benefit them, but it even benefits the next generation, and it benefits others. So us in Africa too, we can also reach this stage. How can we reach that stage? By taking it as a responsibility, not to just blame, but whenever you see a movement, or whenever you see a group of people who are doing anything to improve people's lives, and you can kindly support those people in your respective countries. Whenever you see a program that is trying to do whatever they might be doing, however small it might be, and you believe you can support that program, kindly support that program. That is the only way how we can improve Africa. That is the only way how we can also become informed. And that is the only way how we can make Africa a lovable continent. Let people not know us over only blaming and complaining, but let also people start appreciating us from the point of the good things that are in our nation, that are in our continent. Yes, I love Africa, and I strongly request that we all become the solutions we need. Currently, we are coming up with t-shirts. If you also need a t-shirt from teachers in need, we are coming up with t-shirts that are going to be very inspirational, inspiring teachers, and any member teacher will be getting a t-shirt. So you might not be from Africa, but you'd like to buy one for an African teacher, feel free. You can buy a t-shirt for an African teacher. You can buy a t-shirt for you can buy a t-shirt for your teachers. Even if when you're not a teacher, your children are being taught by teachers. So you can buy a t-shirt for the teachers who teach your children. And then finally, we also request every stakeholders. We request every stakeholder. We request every person, like any person who is interested, at least in seeing that we transform lives. We are coming up with a program. Wow, thank you, Teacher Martha. You are not late. If you have joined late, feel free. This is a live program. You can simply rewatch the entire program, and also don't forget to share it. Yes. Now, one of the challenges that we are having is you find so many people blaming their government, so many people blaming their leaders for not helping others. But this is one thing that we can do right. Let us start programs. Yes. Let us start programs whereby, and we are starting it. And when we start it, we can also start it. Always, thank you, Martha. I'm also humbled. Thank you very much. Let us start sharing. Let us start sharing. And let us start inviting people. If God has blessed you, you are successful, even if you don't have money, kindly take a day, invite teachers at your home, or organize something for them and appreciate them. Appreciate them. And would always like to get those photos. And at least we are going to get a day dedicated for that, whereby we shall always be sharing. Even if when you invite us at your home, we shall record that session at your place, at your home, and then share it with the world, so that the teaching profession can become a strong profession. It can become an admired profession. It can become a profession that everyone likes. Because currently, there's no way how you can tell me that our profession of teaching, it can attract people when we are not an inspiration. For me, whenever I ask my children whom I teach, how many would like to become teachers? Very few will tell you they want to become teachers simply because they are not inspired. They are not inspired. So let us inspire them. Let our life be an inspirational life. And you'll find that so many people will like the profession. So it starts with us here. Yes, thank you for being behind us. Thank you. Thank you very much. And we are very grateful, Teacher James. Yes, it starts with us. So organize those sessions. Don't do them behind closed doors. Invite us. We shall record them. We shall post them. We shall upload them on Teachers TV Africa. We shall share them. We shall boost them. We shall do all what it takes so that the lost glory in education can be rejuvenated. Yes. One of the other things that we're coming up with, the reason why I've shared this information last is for those ones who are watching to the last. We are starting, and we are going to start building houses for teachers. Why? Because one of the reports from the Ministry of Education in Uganda, they say that 85% of teachers retire to poverty. And yet we, as the teachers, we spend a lot of time with the children of the nation in the classes. So what are we going to start doing? We are going to start at least constructing. It is windy here. We are going to start constructing and putting up structures for teachers. So those structures will greatly help our teachers so that people can teach with a heart, a settled mindset. when they are teaching the children of the nation. So when a person is teaching, they can always teach, but when they know that the little money they get, they can also get, it might not be a fancy house, but it will be a modest house that will give them the peace of mind. And that's the major objective of teachers in need, improving the general welfare of teachers. Because if you improve the general welfare of teachers, it simply means that other things will be worked upon. Yes, teacher Martha, you have also talked about the salaries. Now, with the salaries, if a person knows that the teacher is no longer a beggar, the teacher is no longer desperate, you can easily demand, and you can easily put good, let me say, you can easily demand, yes. And yes, also teachers should have good looking children. But if you are not a beggar as a teacher, chances are very high that even the person who is going to employ you, they won't give you small money because you won't be desperate. But this is the challenge. If we are desperate, it simply means that people will always despise us, and people will take advantage of that desperation, and they will give us what we are supposed to get. So we want to change the narrative all over Africa. We want to change the narrative all over the world without blaming any person. We are not going to blame any leader. We are not going to blame any policy makers, but we are going to do things that we have started doing within our limits so that they can transform Africa. So personally, I can't do them alone because I might not even be having all that money. Neither do I have it. But together we can do them. Come with your ideas, come with your solutions. If you have architects, if you have engineers, if you have people who you believe can volunteer their time, we welcome them on board, so that for us what we can do, at times we can facilitate basic things. Then we see the work moving. Let people see the solutions we need in our lives. There's no way how you can inspire people's children if you're not inspired. And that's why our t-shirts, we are coming up with t-shirts called Team. Yes, exactly, Martha. Yes, joint efforts will surely help us. If we don't have joint efforts, we can't move an inch. That's very true. So we are coming up with the t-shirts, and they're called Team. And these t-shirts, we kindly request any person. You can buy it for your teachers. You can buy it for yourself. You can buy it and just put it on, even if you're not a teacher. And what does the word team mean? It's a new acronym, by team, us. The team simply means teachers. Okay, let me not start from teachers. It simply means transformed teachers, informed teachers, inspired teachers, and motivated teachers. Those are the teachers we need. We need informed teachers, transformed teachers, informed teachers, and inspired teachers. So Martha, yes, the t-shirts, the cost of the t-shirts, we have not yet come up with a costing, but would like to make them as affordable as possible. But the teachers who might not be able to buy them, we have so many willing people who are willing to donate those t-shirts, but they won't go. They will be roughly, like now we are talking in dollars. They won't go beyond $10. Yes, like 30,000 Ugandan shillings. They won't go beyond that. They won't go beyond that. But at least there will be the teachers that will motivate us. So even you are looking at the houses of teachers, I will share with you a photo of the houses of the teachers. I'll put it, I think, on Teachers TV Africa Facebook page and Teachers in Need. The houses that we are looking at to build for teachers. And with that, a teacher might not be able to pay for the house at once, but a member teacher can easily pay for the house slowly by slowly. But it comes with one condition, that you don't sell it. That house, if you are tired of it, you give it to your children, or you can rent it out, but you don't sell it. And if you like to sell it out, you have to sell it back to Teachers in Need, so that we give you money and maybe some interest depending on the valuation, and then we give it to another teacher. But yes, so simply because there will be cheaper houses, or there will be cheap houses, we don't believe in selling them. So we thank you for watching, and we thank you for always being part. But one thing is for sure, this movement can't be fulfilled by Teachers in Need alone. It is our collective responsibility. It is your role to it is your role to tell others about teachers in need. It is your role to tell others about these good things. It is your responsibility to come at the center in Kampala and then say, no, this is my responsibility, this is what I'm going to do. And that is what we need in Africa. We have to take our responsibility if we want to improve our nation. Teacher Martha said, I'm going to share the idea with my primary teachers. It is an up-country school. Yes, thank you. You're going to share the ideas with your teachers in an up-country school, and my teachers need such empowerment. Thank you very much. Yes, and thank you for everything, Teacher Moz Luega. Yes, thank you very much for appreciating. So, by the way, I'm one believer in one thing, that if we get united, if we unite as teachers, we can win. One of the things that I've also observed from USA, there are so many opportunities that pass us by as teachers, but we never know them because all the time we are in class, all the time we are teaching children of the nation. But if we take time, learn these things, network, meet people who matter, get opportunities, share those opportunities, you'll find that there's a way how we shall benefit our nation. So with that, I kind of request you, I don't know how often, we wouldn't like to be recording on a daily basis, but we have been getting a number of people who tell me that at least on a daily basis from 10 p.m. GMT, that is East African time, that at least I should always broadcast something, or I should always have a live for them, that they learn something. So I don't know, like those ones who are watching, what is your opinion? Do you buy the idea of sharing something on a daily basis, or we can have it once a week, or thrice a week, twice a week? I don't know, what is your opinion? So kindly don't forget to share that. Then finally, starting next month, we are coming up with a program of volunteering. If you have any teacher, if you have any person whom you believe would benefit from, who are not people who are not employed but would like to gain skills, we have places where we can place them and they volunteer and they gain skills. So yes, Lovega Anthony, thank you very much for sharing. Yes, and thank you too for watching. And you can also tell us where are you watching from. You can comment where you have been watching from, whether Kampala, in Uganda, up country, you have been watching from the United States, you have been watching from Germany, anywhere. Feel free to share with us where you're watching from. And also don't forget to take a screenshot and share it on our Facebook page at the end of the day. Thank you very much. So with that, I'm ending this live by appreciating you. I'm watching from Chireka. Thank you. I'm watching from Chireka, Uganda. Thank you very much, Teacher Martha, from watching from Chireka. And even I don't know how some of us go to know about this, but kindly encourage other people to always take time to watch our live. And it's not all about complaining, because complaining doesn't make lives better. It just makes lives bitter. So anything that you need as a member, like currently, by the way, we have a portfolio whereby we are registering member schools. For a person to become a member school, like for a school to become a member of Teachers in Need, they pay just a small subscription as something that can show that really they are interested in what you're doing. They pay 150,000 shillings a year. In dollars, it's roughly $40, roughly $40, $40 per year. That is the membership. You are watching from Chotera. Thank you, teacher, for watching from Chotera. We have ever been in Chotera, Ramagwa. Whether you know the place, Ramagwa. There, we have ever conducted a workshop there. In Ramagwa, it was a workshop by World Vision Uganda. That was in 2019. Yes, so where like member schools can subscribe with 150,000. So it comes with so many benefits: free workshops, free learning materials, support, supervision, and all that. Then a teacher, to become a member of Teachers in Need, the teacher annually they can pay roughly between 30,000 to 50,000. Yes, And the benefit is if you pay that membership fee, even if when your school doesn't pay you, we have a lawyer. They will pay you. Even if when you don't know how an employment contract looks like, we shall support you. And even the schools, we don't create an enmity between the schools and the teachers, but we support schools and the teachers to learn how we can work together, how we can relate, how we can coordinate, how we can cooperate. And at the end of the day, if we do all the things, you'll see that we shall make teaching a loving profession, and a profession whereby teachers won't remain as laughing stock teachers. And all the member schools and member teachers, but this one, before a person becoming a member, we are starting it next month, whereby each month you are going to be recognizing the best teacher of the month or the teacher of the month, and with it will come with some gifts or cash. Yes, and with that, what are we trying to do? We are trying to brand ourselves. We are not branding teachers in need, but we are trying to brand education, and we are trying to brand our profession. If we don't brand our profession, no one will brand it for us. So starting next month, all those gifts are going to be available. And kindly don't forget to subscribe to this channel, Teachers TV Africa. Don't forget to follow our Facebook pages. That's where we shall be sharing all that information. And don't forget to tell a friend about this. Yes, Teacher James, I'm felt tickled because some of the findings have been part of me. Yes, thank you very much for tickling you. And we welcome everyone on board to see ways on how this can become a reality. For us, we have done so many things. We have been in so many places. Currently, I'm in the US. But personally, I wouldn't like to say that I will stay in the US here. No. I believe I'm destined to make a change in Africa. Yes, there are so many opportunities in the US, but there are so many opportunities in Africa. And this is the only way how we can make our lives better. So how can we make our lives better? Don't look at teachers in need and say it is for teacher Peter, it is for teacher Irene, it is for Becky, it is for who, it is for who. No. Teachers in need is for all of us. Teachers in need is for parents, because at the end of the day, if we work at improving teachers and the teachers are improved, it simply means that even the parents are benefiting. If we work very hard to see that schools become firm financially, it simply means that the parents are also benefiting, because the school won't overcharge you. If we work very hard to see that the teachers are improving and they are living at least a modest life, it simply means that even the learners are benefiting. Because if our learners are taught by informed teachers, inspired teachers, transformed teachers, and motivated teachers, it simply means that they are going to teach motivated learners, inspired learners, informed learners, and transformed learners. So I believe that you have learned something. And finally, I would also request all of you from here, send me a WhatsApp. I would like all of you here to participate in the Mandela Washington Fellowship. Yes, tell other teachers, to also participate in the Mandela Washington Fellowship. That's an opportunity where you can visit USA, and it's the program that also brought me to the United States without paying any shilling. If you write a good application, I will support you personally. I will support you. You write a good essay, you write everything well, and then we see ways on how you can reach America. You come and learn, network, create meaningful relationships. So kindly feel at home. Send me a WhatsApp. Reach us through Facebook, and then we are going to see what to do together. Start the application. You can go on the Mandela Washington Fellowship. I'll share the link in the description, whereby you can apply. Yes, and at least with that, it will improve your life, and it will make the teaching profession better. I'm very grateful. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing to Teachers TV Africa, and thank you for telling a friend about Teachers TV Africa, and thank you for joining this family. Kindly join this family. If each person will bring like just one person on board, and then we take it as our responsibility, you become the agents, you become the lead of team in your respective district, We empower you maybe with the skills, at times with the resources, at times with anything. And then you take it as a responsibility to add an impact in your area. Others even beyond Uganda, yes. Because currently we're having programs also outside Uganda. We empower you from there. Then you become the change that we need over there. It will create a great impact in our lives and in our nation. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your time. May the Almighty God bless you. Thank you for subscribing to Teachers TV Africa. And don't leave this video without liking. Don't leave this video without sharing. Currently, it's going to upload. After uploading, you can come back like after 5 minutes and then share it. We are humbled. Thank you for watching. May God bless you. May God bless you. I feel like not even living here, but I have to leave people. People have to sleep. Tomorrow you have to work. For us here, it is just, I think here it is still 3 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, it is still 3 p.m. So, so many people have to sleep. And when you get time, don't forget to visit Teachers TV Africa. We have a channel. We also have a school. Currently, we have 2 schools. Yes, we have where if you want to volunteer, you can come and volunteer. If you want us to send you to any place, volunteer. That we can that one we can do it for you. So we are grateful. May God bless you. Let us keep in touch. Don't forget to send me a WhatsApp. I think you have my number, you have my contact. Don't forget to send me a WhatsApp. I've been live and direct from from USA, Florida. Thank you very much. I love you. See you then. See you tomorrow. Yes, at the same time at 10 p.m. GMT. May God bless you. And kindly tomorrow, come with a colleague. Come with a colleague. We shall talk about something related to what we have talked about, but in a different way. May God bless you. See you. See you. See you.